I'm coming from the blackplanet.org from Portugal. It's a Portuguese zine, and we are doing this together with Underground, Germany magazine. The girl behind the camera basically is helping with this.
I think I've seen her before.
Huh? A bit alone, yeah. I have a special interview for her after, then she will be in trouble. Anyway, well, just starting with, still you are having the second part of the Congregation tour. So it's been now almost 1 year that the album was released. So how do you feel about it still today? Are you still happy? Would you change something about it?
No, I'm still very happy with how the Congregation came out. It represents very much who we are today, and it's an album that I can stand 100% for still. Yeah. That's not something I can say about all our albums.
That leads to the next question. So how would you describe the other albums in one word? Starting from the beginning. Yes.
From the beginning? From Silent Waters, you mean?
For example.
Well, I mean, that was the first proper recording I ever did in any band. So for the time being, I mean, it was very much as good as we could get it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. We were very fresh.
But do you think it was because of your skills or recording?
Which skills are you talking about?
You had some already.
There wasn't many of those skills back then. I mean, it's not much to say, but it's a demo. It's a demo. Not much to say about it. Yeah. Have you heard it?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, Aeolia. It's the album that we're making songs that are way above the skills that we had back then. It's like trying to do everything, like really everything in one. It's very experimental and yeah. But it was a very important step for us. It was yeah, it was an important step, and we did. Yeah, it was really the album where we started to experiment a lot with different stuff that wasn't very typical for a metal band. Yeah. So, Tall Poppy Syndrome, that's our first official record.
Yes.
And it was also like a big step up for the band. It's much like sounds much more professional than previous. The style of the album isn't something that we personally relate so much to anymore. That doesn't mean that I think it's bad. It just means that it's, I don't know. It's just like
there's a distance already.
Yeah, it's a distance. It's not. It doesn't feel like us, and it's also quite like many persons changed. Members in the band changed, and it's lots of things has happened. And Bilateral, it was like also a step up, I would say, like especially we got to more recognition, and the album is also, I think it's the album where we're very determined. We want to show everything that we can do, which is why I think some people, it's not the majority, but some people have that as the favorite album because it's a bit like we were showing everything that we could do at that moment, yeah, it's and then with Coal, that's I think the biggest change from like it's a very clear change in attitude of the band, and it's much, I don't know, it's more restrained in a way, and it's more it plays more with the moods and emotions than with just like experimenting. Come in,
yeah.
Yes. So Cole was like for some of the established fans we had at that time, I think that was kind of oh, what's going on here now? That's not the band that I know.
But do you think you lost or won?
No,
like
in general, we got much bigger after Cole, and so it's the moment when you start, when your goal is to keep your old fans, that's your main goal. It's like when you can quit music, in my opinion, because it's really about following your own vision, and that's what music and art is about in general. If you don't follow your own vision, it's pointless. It doesn't mean I fully respect people's different opinions about our albums, but when it's they cannot expect us to follow that in when we're making the music. So it's. But in general, it created a new kind of fan base. Also, it's a more moody album in a way, and it plays more with. I think it's a more emotional album, and I think it's a much darker album also than Bilateral. Bilateral is not very dark. It's it's like but and then comes the Congregation, which is like the album that we spend without doubt the most hours in making, because with the other albums we just took the sketches for songs that we had and we made an album out of that. Okay. With the Congregation we had 30 sketches that like for full songs that we were and then we were doing a poll to vote for which songs we wanted to continue with, and then so in that way it was much easier to steer the album exactly into the direction we wanted it. And it's a quite rhythmical album. It's I would also say that it's the most catchy album maybe, but still it's also without doubt the most difficult album to perform by Leprous. Some people would think that it's Bilateral, but it's like to perform Forced Entry comparing to the Prize, for example, it's easy peasy. It's much easier. And it's strange because what sounds obviously most difficult, it's not always what is most difficult. Forced Entry is one of the easiest songs of our set list, probably because we know it very well also. But it's like it's a song that is once you know it in a way. But some songs from the Congregation just continues to be very like it's a bit hard to play it, it's hard to perform it, and especially vocally also the Congregation is quite challenging. Luckily it's still early in the tour, so I think we're going to be okay today.
It's kind of shorter tour now.
Yeah, but I never know that sometimes my voice just disappears a bit in tours, but I think that happens with most vocalists when they're touring. So I just stopped fighting. It's just like whatever. I'm gonna when it happens, I'm gonna still do as good as I can.
Yeah, there's a combination of factors anyway that pull the people.
Definitely.
So you have been progressing. You're just mentioning about that. So what do you think it's the next step? How do you see? I
mean, I'm already at sketch 28 out of 30 for the next album. Okay. So it's
good news.
so it's soon we'll do the vote of which sketches to continue with.
But are you using something from the Congregation sketches?
No. When something isn't good enough, it's not good enough. It's just we're throwing it all the way. Yeah. And some of it could have maybe been good songs, but you just have to follow your guts and just think that if something sounds good in MIDI, with MIDI guitars and MIDI drums, it's definitely going to sound good with the final. But I think what to expect from the next album is that I think it's going to be the smallest change musically that we've done so far, because as a band,
the same kind of mood, or
it's just like as a band, it takes quite many years to find yourself completely, find your character. But once you've done it, it's like the changes become smaller. It's just like it's not going to be the same album in any way, but it's still like at least the process in making it is quite similar. So it's.
So
there's going to be no good.
It's kind of as good as the one before, or a bit better.
We will see. But I mean, unless we what to say? We have to think it's better than the previous one, or else we don't want to release it. I mean, that's we need to feel that what we've done is better. It doesn't mean that everyone else is going to feel it, but we need to feel that we're progressing. So it's so that's it. So yeah, no good news for the old school Leprous fans there.
Someone will be sad here.
Tina is a flexible Leprous fan.
Oh yeah.
She knows all the stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it took you a while to decide to do it, but now you're finally ready to take that big step. So what special thingies can you expect in the Oslo gig?
It's in a way we're going to perfect the show that we have now, because we don't want to experiment with anything new musical wise, because we've spent visually it's going to just be as a normal Leprous show with much more, with many guest artists and with more special effects, just more, and maybe a song or two extra. But it's going to be the congregation show that we're doing these days, because that's what we feel that we're ready to. That's the show. We wanted to do a live recording of it now, because it's a pity to have all those rehearsals, all those shows, and then it's just like, okay, then it's forgotten in a way. It's just in the memory.
Yeah.
It's nice to have it
recorded.
yeah. But it's the reason why we didn't do recordings before is just it's so incredibly expensive to do it. It takes a lot because people buy less of live albums.
Less of anything.
Yeah, but they buy even less of live albums than normal albums, and also they buy less of live DVDs than. But it costs like 5 times as much to make it. That's because you need to have the film production also, which is very expensive, and you need to rent. For us, we need to have a venue that is above the venues that we're normally playing. It's like 1,500 capacity kind of thing, and we don't normally play that large venues. But when you do a live DVD show.
We're actually talking about the live show in Oslo, and he was just kind of mentioning how expensive it is to actually make it.
Yeah.
And actually, my question was also going to be related with the crowdfunding that you had. So I checked it. Was it last week or something? It was around 80%.
Yeah, now we have
So might be close,
18,000 out of 20.
Okay.
So
happy with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's getting there.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is though that the project doesn't necessarily go around just by the crowdfunding.
No. We need to have So
but
we need to have quite many.
Yeah, but this is like and it's an investment anyway. It's not to make money at all. This project is.
It's because we want to do it.
Yeah,
it's a project.
But I think the fans are also pleased with the idea.
Yeah, and we're very much a live band. Very much a live band. So it's like. It would be a shame for us not to have any proof that we are putting a lot of effort into our live shows.
Yeah.
So it's like.
At least for the people that don't have the opportunity to travel around to see you, they can also. There's some option to get it. But were you planning also to have it like as a stream at that point, or just recorded and then?
Yeah, to stream it live, you think?
Yes.
No.
I'm wondering if that would be one of your options.
I don't think so. No, I don't.
No, I think we're aiming for like a production where you edit
because
everything
we're gonna mix the sound properly and everything.
With several cameras and everything.
Post production, so it's going to be done afterwards.
And you were talking about special guests. Can you name one? Like a teaser that people wants to come to Germany or?
There are some people you can probably guess without mentioning any names.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess we will reveal this at a later time. I think. Yeah.
So people just follow Facebook and Twitter. They will reveal later. Let's go to the funny stories. Because we have been touring around like all the world. I mean, we're in Australia recently and you go to Japan too.
Yeah.
So what would you say it was the best show ever you had on all these adventures? And the worst.
It's
always
impossible.
nice to have the
It's much easier to remember the worst.
Yeah, the worst.
Well, then go for it. It's usually funny.
Autosymphonic.
Yeah, Rostock, Germany. I think.
I think that's the point where everyone was reconsidering: is this something
that we want to continue with? Yeah, it was that.
Really horrible.
There was 11 people in the crowd, and there was one of them there for the show, and that was in 2013 on the Cold Tour.
Yeah, it was like this is in like kind of a biker club with like people just sitting in the bar and drinking, and we were disturbing them while they were talking.
With like bucking leather waistcoats, and nobody was paying attention except one guy.
Yeah, but the thing is that spot on that tour was more okay. We have to go from there to there. Is there anything in between? And then Rostock. What do we know there? And then we got the offer there. So so we just tried. We had no idea. And, yeah. So that's why we're very satisfied now with actually having a successful show in Berlin. Since finally we have another option in like
northeast Germany. Yeah. It's some places that are good, like strategically.
The location.
The location and everything is like that. It's not only about where you have the biggest audience. You need to like make it work logistically also.
Yeah.
So there's always a big bonus when it's like cities where you get both.
Yeah. Makes sense. But you are playing soon also in the Carmageddon Festival.
Yeah.
So do you think you like better festivals or this small?
In general,
I like tours.
I like tours.
Yeah. You can have your entire production, and by playing many shows in a row, you really get into the. I mean, it's easier to
manage,
and to be like really.
But festivals has its own charm too. I like it. It's cool. Like just hanging around there, watching some bands.
And meet the same.
Your friends also.
There is always somebody you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's
that's really.
Nice.
I mean, if you're asking about like bad gigs, it's better to I mean, we've had many bad experiences, but mostly with transportation. It's that's
Lost stuff.
No, more like crashing cars and motor breaking down and
border crossings.
Yeah, border crossings.
Did you had to lose some gigs because of those?
Only
in
one.
Serbia.
In Serbia.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to enter.
We've been back there several times with success.
And actually, the next 2 days later, we were allowed to cross because then we were just driving through. I mean, we were just unlucky that one time that we.
The border was not so nice.
Yeah.
She had a couple of questions she really wants to give to you.
No, there was when you go back to the crowdfunding campaign, there is talk about a crowdfunding campaign to fund, because you have this thing that you can wish a song for 600 euros. So in the moment there's talk and chatter going around about a crowdfunding campaign to force you guys to play an old song you don't like to play all along.
We would have done it.
Yeah.
So you will do it if the money comes.
I mean, there are some songs that we've been refusing to play for several years, and everyone is shouting, "This is the plan all the time," just for someone to find.
I was expecting an order already.
Yeah, we're really surprised that no one has ordered the.
Wait for it.
So, but we're talking. You are planning a crowdfunding campaign, so people can contribute to be able to pay for the crowdfunding campaign.
We need to get the money ourselves.
It's but I have them now in my. They've been like at the local music school in my old hometown for a long while.
Like in
my mother has been using it for like theaters and
musicals.
I thought like in next to medals and trophies.
No, but no. It's been in use actually. So
I think it's on every musical someone is wearing.
Now there's my old silver, but now I claimed it back again, so it's.
Planning to use them at some point?
For a special occasion.
I'm planning to sell them for 200 euros. That's what I'm planning for them. That's my only plan. If people won't buy it on the crowdfunding campaign, I'm sure they won't buy it on eBay.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably
Works
not.
better these days, crowdfunding anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we have all the questions covered.
Think so.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
And hoping for the show once again. We are like, I don't know. How many shows did you add already in a row? No, that's a question too. The fan. The big fan.
That must be 15 or something.
15?
I think so.
Okay.